everyone, and welcome back to Color the Magic and my frequency writer messages for December 2025. My name is Marie Mohler, and I'm an author, creative spirit, and a messenger of living a rich, inspired, authentic, and abundant life as divine creative heroes and divine creative heroines in ascension times. I know many of us are feeling the potency of the energies. We're also feeling a potency of new quantum possibilities. And we may also be feeling layers of vibrational echoes that we talked about in last month's messages for November 2025. You can go back and review some of those videos if you missed those. But there is this sense of things returning at a higher level for us with greater soul skills at this point to re-meet those same patterns of our karmic histories, our karmic stories in this realm, and transmute them, transcend them, so we can move beyond them and exit the matrix, exit the illusions, and embrace more of who we truly are, because that's why we're all here. That's why most of us are on the planet at this time, is to make this journey into integrating the light and the gnosis and the remembrance of who we truly are, which means we're clearing out the stories and the old patterning that it was for our characters in the Matrix's story that is dissolving and dematerializing at a rapid rate. So thank you for joining me. Let's take a look at the big picture review and the themes and topics I see emerging in December 2025 and also in the new year of 2026. Okay, and before we get to the big picture review, I just wanted to spotlight some of the themes that are really poignant for December 2025. We're going to be talking about endings and beginnings, which is no surprise really, because we are culminating this, we're rounding out 2025 and all the potent changes and amplifications and emergences and unveilings, all of those things that we've seen this year, as well as we're turning the corner into 2026, which has a lot of meaning for all of us on the planet at this time. But those quantum potentials, there's this light of gnosis that's inviting us forward to expand into 2026. We are well beyond the midpoint of this ascension decade. And so I find it really, really powerful to be talking about those endings and beginnings in December 2025. We're going to talk about remembrance of light in December. I have a number of messages prepared for you related to that. We're really going to be spotlighting illuminating your true arc. We've talked about Noah's Ark, as I've spotlighted through the years what it was like to have that extraordinary faith and fortitude to meet the task of his day. But we are living in a new day and a new time, and we have unique challenges and unique gifts and opportunities to explore and rediscover inside ourselves. So we're going to illuminate our true arcs today in these conversations. And then I have themes in the songs that I prepared for you for now throughout the month of December and also for the holidays. And some of those themes include Higher Ground, Lanterns in the Storm, The Light of Gnosis, The Arc You Are, and Exponential Rising, because that's the way I see 2026 all the way to 2030. We are really going to be ratcheting up, or I'd at least say accelerating the pace and rate of change inside ourselves personally and also inside our world as a collective. And that probably means like the unveiling of technologies, the canceling and clearing of debts. You know, it's kind of a time for a jubilee to reset the system. We're watching our financial system reset, and everything changed. Because all of the systems founded in deception or through archonic manipulations and whatever those are that have built the foundations of the 3D matrix are crumbling, failing, or somehow being converted and reset and repurposed for the new earth moving forward. So a lot of things are releasing, and then some things will actually probably be repurposed and reused and used for good in the new directions of time that we're all moving in. And that creates this sense of exponential rising. And we all want to be participants in that, not bystanders. We don't want to just witness these changes that we're stepping into. We want to actively and consciously participate in them for our own exponential rising. So that contributes to the exponential rising of the planet. We each are here to do our part. And I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you spend time with these messages. And with that said, let's take a look at the big picture review. Okay, so we have this theme of endings and beginnings, right? And you really can't have one without the other. They're inextricably linked, right? So we see a year wrapping up, but let's really reflect on the fact that we are past the midpoint of this ascension decade. Last year, 1 year ago at this time, we were just approaching that midpoint of the decade. But now we're on this accelerated course, or at least that's what it feels like to me, on course to 2030, right? 2030 feels like a due north ascension destination, right? And what that means to me is there's a whole lot of change that has to roll out. We've been dematerializing the old 3D matrix over many, many decades, and of course, over many, many centuries. But that really ratcheted up probably at least since 2016. I would also say in 2020, when we entered this ascension decade, this encapsulated period of time where the whole planet was going to be shifting in very noticeable ways for those with eyes to see and ears to hear. So from 2020 to 2025, we've seen a lot of exposures and disclosures and dematerializations and massive changes in the systems and structures that have governed this world. But now, in addition to those changes of disillusion, like dissolving the 3D matrix's illusions, right? We're also going to see this amplification of the new systems coming in. There's going to be financial resets in the whole system. It's already underway. Many people who pay attention to crypto and digital assets and the metals world, the metals markets, and the way people do business and things needing to be backed by something real and tangible. No longer are we going to have these assets that are backed by air, that only has the backing of people's faith, because that's also what's being shaken. People's beliefs and the patterns of their beliefs in the systems that for centuries, at least people have believed provided structure and to some degree some safety or security. But we're going to realize together as a collective, it's already happening, that putting our faith blindly in a system that's just always been there because it's always been there, right? Do you feel that? Having faith in a system just because it's the only thing you know doesn't mean it's a good system. It just means it's the system that has ruled in archonic ways through the centuries, and that is being dismantled. So there's a lot of ramifications of these endings, this dissolution, the dematerialization of the old structures, the old archonic ways of deception and manipulation of markets and systems, and the control mechanisms. We are seeing those dematerialize on a grand scale on the planet. And that also means that's making room for new systems and new structures and new technologies and more divinely appropriate systems that can support who we truly are, the gifts that we really have, freeing us up from laboring all the time, toiling away just to pay our taxes and be able to maybe have shelter and food on our plates. We are designed for so much more, and the changes in the systems that I'm seeing and the beginnings of more of that churning into our daily lives and experiences, yes, it's different. Yes, it's going to take some adjustment. Yes, there's going to be learning curves. We are stepping out of old systems that kept us enslaved in these incarceration programs and this conditioning, and we're stepping into a world where there's more opportunities for freedom and liberation and self-expression. It's going to look different. It's going to feel different. We want to have our eyes wide open. We want to have our hearts tuned in. We want to activate all of our gifts of sentience as much as we can. Because if you're listening with all of your senses, you're going to listen for what's meant for you. And you're going to listen for things that aren't necessarily meant for you right now to invest your energy into. But regardless, we're all going through this change. Systems that had governed this world and incarcerated this world are leaving, and systems that are going to emancipate this world and allow us to step into this new age with new technology, quantum technologies. That's going to be part of our financial system. It's going to be part of our new money system. It's going to be part of our lives and how we build our new structures, how we launch new products, how we innovate new services. There's so much potency. There's so much in an accelerated and amplified frequency of change as we round out December 2025, which is another gate closing on the old matrix, if you will. And we're stepping into this new portal of infinite potentials in 2026. So we're closing out the gates on the old world and the old paradigm and the old matrix, right? In December 2025. It's a closeout process, right? And then there's this opening of doors. There's this opening of a portal to step through into the new frequencies of 2026 and the accelerated rate of change and the beautiful things rolling out. It's like we're going to remember the knowings that we know inside. That goes back to the Gnostics and the Gnosis that I've been spotlighting in recent messages this year. Right? So there's this energy of closing out and dematerializing. Those are the endings. And there's this energy of infinite expansion, right? An exponential rising, exploding and exploring and expanding in 2026 all the way through 2030 and beyond. But we're going to feel change on an epic scale of the newness emerging in the new year. So let me revisit that just a moment again to encapsulate those concepts. There's endings and beginnings that we're all feeling in December 2025. I'm simply stating the obvious that many of us are feeling a year round out and a new one begin. But if you look at it through the quantum layering or the multidimensional energy and awareness of that, we're feeling that on so many levels. We're feeling the amplified potencies of the frequencies. We're feeling the amplified quantum and cosmic personal and collective potentials. And we're also aware of these multidimensional vibrational echoes that are happening politically, globally, financially, and personally. We're feeling it on a personal level. How many of you are experiencing your own vibrational echoes of patterns that you've lived and experienced, maybe thought that you transmuted and transcended, and then there it is showing up in a new way or from a new angle for you to call in your soul skills and transmute it in a different way or in a more complete and holistic way in the spiral of your ascension journey, right? I don't see the spiral of the ascension journey as doubling back on itself. I see the spiral of our ascension journeys as continuing to move forward. The momentum of ascension continues to progress and move forward. Another theme for this month is remembering and reknowing the light. This is a season of light. In many of the world's religions, in many of the ways that people practice their spirituality and connect with their divinity, there's this theme and there's this energy of remembering and reknowing and celebrating the light. We are living lighthouses during times of epic change, and it's time for us to really embody that, embrace it, explore it, and start to really get curious about what does it mean to be a living lighthouse on the planet at this time? What is your light meant to touch and expand and activate on the planet? We are all these powerful beings. We've just been shrunk into this 3D matrix's story. We've been living in a world of time that has trapped us inside time. But really, we've been in like a bubble of time outside of time in a kind of way because it's a complete illusion. We've been living in an illusion of a realm that we believed was all that there is. And there's a much bigger and broader picture in the universe, in the quantum cosmic story of humanity that we're going to be discovering also in the years 2026, 2027, on through 2030 and beyond, right? We are the instruments of change that are closing out an entire paradigm of existence and experience. And we are those same souls that are also the bridges into the new age and era of the living light. So to remember and reknow the light in the season of light is a very, very beautiful gift. And that's what I want to also draw attention today through these messages, through the songs that I have prepared for you, and through your holiday season inside your heart. And as you connect with the divinity within you and the source and the great mother, your divine sacred parents, and the light that is true that's inside you, right? Amidst all the other change that's rolling out, there's a lot that's asked of us. We've talked about that in some other messages, the big ask. It's a big ask to be here for these quantum changes. And yet, that big ask, we signed up. We said, I want to be here for that. I want to know my light in that timeline of the ascension shifts. I want to be a living lighthouse as the world is changing. I want to be there. We have all said this. That's why we're here. So we want to tap into the frequencies of serious quantum prana so we can be breathing in the light of source, the light of the Christ Sophia codes inside us, where we are this living energy, right? We are this living amplification and fuel source for the changes that are unfolding. We are participants in that. We don't just want to be the bystander. We want to participate in the living lights, emergence, and establishment as the order of the day, as the new sheriff in town is the light. That's it. So, okay, many of you have listened to my messages for a long time. You guys will remember many channelings devoted to Noah and the ark and his faith and his fortitude and the storms in his day, right? Because we've related and connected with a lot of what he went through when there were storms and forecasts of floods that he didn't know exactly how it was going to play out, but he knew some of the details and he was called to prepare. And we have talked about how he continued to build the ark, even though he must have been seen probably as a crazy first prepper that we know, at least in some biblical stories, where he was trying to, protect his family and animals and, the messages and the instruments that they were to carry that forward in his day. And so, but that was a very physical flood, right? There were layers to that in his day, but we have our own. We have floods that we've been dealing with for some time. I know many of you are a bit flood weary, a bit prepper weary, a bit exploration and soul seeker weary. The weariness is real. And also, so too is the exponential rising that is coming through the weariness, that is coming through the preparation and the reconnection and the illumination of our true arcs. I think we will feel less weary when we understand what our arc of this day, of our time is, and we tap into that and we move through that and we become the flow of the arc ourselves. We're going to talk about that in the message Garden Insights number 8 that I prepared for you today. We're going to illuminate that true arc. And also, as we do in these monthly messages, we're going to review insights as we gather at the river with Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker. We're going to continue to draw from the inspiration in her book, Dare to Be Great. And we have so many powerful and beautiful teachings from Dr. Terry. She lived it inside and out. This was who she was through and through, and she spent a lifetime sharing these gems of what she uncovered in her journey. And remember, people, if you could just feel the context, Dr. Terry was uncovering a lot of these insights, right? And a lot of this soul awareness and a lot of her own inner knowings over decades of time when there was no internet. So she was her own antenna. She was her own frequency, tapping into the light of the Great Mother, tapping into the knowings that she knew. And then she packaged that in a number of books that she wrote and many, many videos that she has on YouTube. So you can always, always tap into the messages of Dr. Terry and feel like you're having tea with her. At least that's what I do when I listen. I just giggle as if we're having a conversation. And I'm so grateful that that is there. And I'm grateful for her partner, Michael, who keeps the channel going. Also, we're going to talk about remembering and connecting with Sophia, Eve, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene, who are 4 faces of the ark. Remember, it's a multi-dimensional ark. We're talking about Noah had his ark, which was at the very physical level of ark building and ark prepping. Okay? But Sophia, Eve, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene, when seen multidimensionally, when seen very spiritually, when seen maybe very Gnostically, are 4 faces of the ark of our today, of our now. They are 4 wombs and divine feminine messengers of our rebirth, of this planet and of ourselves personally. Powerful messages coming through these 4 divine feminine souls, and I'm so grateful they're here with us. And then I'm also going to talk about the gift of soul songs to ground and inspire us during the holidays. If anybody's feeling low, I've got a playlist of many, many songs. We'll see how many we get through today, but when I post the playlist by itself, I'm going to post them all together, and together they're 28 soul songs for you for holiday listening to reinforce and help you to re-know your light, to re-illuminate your true arc. Okay, so we're going to talk about those things today. And ultimately, one of the things I want to spotlight for you today is that a master key of your ascension, of our collective ascension, is our gnosis. Why do you think this time is characterized by being called the Great Awakening, right? The Great Remembering, right? There's this time of like this grand ascension, but the ascension, this rising, this awakening, what is stirring? What does that mean? What needs to come to the surface? What is being unveiled? It is our gnosis. That is our locomotion. That must be the vibrational fuel for our Merkabas that have slowed down so that we have these very tight vehicles, our human vessels that aren't connected, have not been connected to the universe for teleportation or bilocation or any of the ways that we can visit other realms, right? The master key of that, the locomotion, the lubrication, the fuel source of our ascension now is our gnosis. Ascension is awakening. Ascension is tapping into the knowings that we know. It's our remembrance codes. It's the integration of our Christ Sophia codes. It's why Christ is so prominent in this time of the year, in the season that we go through on planet Earth, right? That celebration of the birth of Christ and the rebirth of Christ in us. And I would really add the rebirth of the integration of the Christ Sophia codes 100% coming together in a breath, in a marriage, in one single frequency, unified again in us. How do we find and tap into and embody that unification? It requires our gnosis. It requires our knowing. It requires a willingness to enter into the awareness of the remembrance codes inside you. And that's also what the soul songs that I create are meant to do, to help fortify and empower and affirm the remembrance codes that exist in you. You are the light of the season. You are the light of this world. You are the light of your own arc. You are the light of the way Sophia, Eve, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene are expressing the true arc in you. It's you. And so we are here also in terms of that master key of ascension to embody our inner knowing of all of this. It's waking up inside us. We can't help but to start to feel it, sense it, taste it, tap into it, and embody it. Because our arcs have always lived within us. They have always been us. They have always been inside us. We're just in the process of remembering and re-knowing. And those arcs lead to higher ground and a risen vibrational experience. We are craving our Merkabas that have been living, seems like far, far away outside of us, or something that just feels like a dream, right? Or a movie. It's somebody else's story. No, it's your story. It's our story. These arcs are ours, right? Our Merkaba, right? Maybe arc kind of is in the Merkaba almost, right? Yeah, so these arcs have always lived within us, and we are simply re-knowing this again. And then I wanted to say, before I begin some of these deeper messages today, that I want to send warm wishes to all of you this holiday season. We know the quantum change and amplified energies are palpable. We're all feeling it. Let's stay focused on the living Christ light throughout the holidays, and let's fly free beyond the confines of linear time. Ascension is exiting the matrix. Ascension is tapping into the light and the locomotion of gnosis. Ascension is remembering the light codes and the marriage of the Christ Sophia codes in you, not separated, not conflicting, not dualistic, but harmonizing and balancing together as one inside us, and we express it through our inner knowing. This is our journey, and we want to fly free beyond the confines of linear time. Your wings for that freedom is your Merkaba. It is the gnosis. It is the remembrance codes. It's the light of who you are. It's the arc that you are. And I will say again and again today, it is time for exponential rising. So, in the spirit of exponential rising, let's spend a little bit of time with Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker. We're going to gather at the river with Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker. For anyone that's tuning into these messages, maybe for the first time, each month I honor Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker, who passed away a year ago. But she podcasted with me. We had many, many conversations. And one of the things that she loved is how women for centuries would gather at the river to empower and affirm and support each other, to connect with the light in each other, to mirror the light and life of struggles in our lives. At that time at the river where women would gather, the divine feminine was fully flowing and expressing at the river with the heart and the heartbeat of the mother, right? Flowing through the rivers. We are in the divine feminine frequencies of Sophia and Eve, Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene when we gather at the river with Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker. And she was a sacred mother to many, Dr. Terry. And she was my friend, and I appreciate her and I love her. And I can say that I miss her. My human self misses her, but my soul self knows we communicate and we're visiting all the time. So I want to visit with Dr. Terry at the river, continuing her messages from her book, Dare to Be Great, 7 Steps to Spiritual and Material Riches. You can find her books in many settings. You can find them on her website. You can find them at Amazon.com. My recommendation is just to find them where you can find them and enjoy her incredible wisdom that she had. And it was teaching a world that wasn't yet awake. And then she was a steady teacher, a teacher of teachers over many, many decades. So the first quote that we're going to talk about from Dr. Terry's book, Dare to Be Great, is about inner work. The most important work anyone can do is called inner work. The outer world is the outward manifestation of the inner world of belief, imagination, and acceptance. The visible comes from the invisible as our ideas express into form that we may experience and discover who we are and the creative power we possess. We want to create consciously. And if we're not doing that inner work, we are unconscious creators. And I think many of you know and may have experienced, I certainly have experienced, the things that I created when I was an unconscious creator. And I know that at any point, if I don't create consciously, I can create unconsciously again. And that isn't always a fun experience when it comes into form, something that you didn't actually consciously want to live and breathe and be. So that inner work is vital to our ascension journeys. And I love that she calls attention to that. It's the most important work anyone can do is this inner work, this inner journey of the divine creative hero or heroine, I would say, right? But that inner work is where the visible comes from the invisible as our ideas, thoughts, feelings, all of those vibrations express into form so we can experience and discover who we are and the creative power we truly possess. Beautiful. Okay, this second message from Dr. Terry, she says, human beings are godlike in nature, not God, but godlike, possessing divine rights and qualities that we are using to create a heavenly or hellish existence in the here and now. The principles of successful living are taught in every religion, as these truths are eternal and applicable to everyone, regardless of nationality, age, sex, education, or past experience. The choice is ours as to whether we will develop and express our highest or lowest nature, or somewhere in between. In these times of the amplified energies, in these times of vibrational echoes that we talked about last month, there's a potency and amplification to our creative power. And if we're creating unconsciously, we are amplifying whatever we're creating unconsciously. If we're creating consciously, we are amplifying whatever we're creating consciously. But whoever we are, whatever vibration we are inhabiting inside ourselves and emitting to the world, right? The choice is ours as to whether we will develop and express our highest nature or our lowest nature or somewhere in between. And again, I might add, we can choose wisely in these times. We are godlike in nature, Dr. Terry reminds us. We are not God, but God-like in nature. We possess the divine rights and qualities of God, of the source, of the mother, right? That we can use to create a heavenly or hellish existence. And as we see this amplification of energy that's very, very palpable, right? That potency I spotlight in these messages. We really want to pay attention to what we're investing our energy into. You pay attention to what you invest into monetarily, right? You want to know what your money's going into, how you're voting with your dollar, those kinds of things, and what kind of assets that you have. Where are you investing your energy of money, your financial resources, your monergy? The same holds true for where you are vibrationally investing your energy, your talents, your attention, and your intentions. That's what will create a heavenly or hellish experience or existence, as Dr. Terry says. So as more of the energies continue to amplify, we have to be more discerning and disciplined and conscious about what we are creating, because it's coming quicker and quicker into our experience, quicker and quicker into our existence. And I just find these messages from Dr. Terry timeless and very timely with what we're all experiencing on the planet as we close out 2025 and as we round the corner to 2026, and the amplification of frequencies on the planet is only accelerating and expanding. And there's this third quote from Dr. Terry: "The helping hands we are waiting for are on the ends of our own arms. God helps those who help themselves. God can only do for us what he does through us. You are the vessel of change. You are the instrument of light. You are the knower that knows. You are the Gnostic remembering who you are. We are the ones that are awakening. We are not waiting for an external savior per se. It's the God energy in us. It's the Christed energy in us. It's the Sophia energy and awareness in us that creates the world we want to live in, that vibrationally invests into the experiences that we are having. So the helping hands we may seek, the helping hands we may be waiting for, are on the ends of our own arms." It's a powerful statement. God helps those who help themselves. So if you're waiting for help to appear, maybe you need to begin to figure out how your hands on the ends of your own arms can begin to help you in your ascension process take action and move forward in a direction in some way. You can listen every single day for a small or big step or anything in between, that you can move your vessel, you can move your light body, you can move your gnosis in the direction of your fullest expression of your gifts and your talents and your light in the world. God can only do for us what he does through us. So he's awaiting your active and conscious participation. We are participants, not bystanders. Okay, and now I'm going to spotlight the insights and inspiration from Michelle Cassot and Stuart Cubley from Life, Paint, and Passion. We also continue to work through their book, which really is meant to inspire creatives and artists of not getting trapped in the boxes of what schools and the educational system or any other limiting belief system has mirrored to us that we are. We are infinite creator beings. And so they have lots of insights in there. So I have two quotes from them here today. The first one is, "Most of us wish to discover an insatiable passion to create. But meanwhile, if a small, unexpected color or shape appears against our desire, we get very upset, judgmental, protective. Our wish for intensity is often just a belief. What we really want is control, to be decision makers. We have to know where we are going. Chaining ourselves to rules, ideas, and preferences, we wonder why we can't fly." I think many of us are ready to fly in this holiday season. Many of us are ready to fly free financially, creatively, heartfully, soulfully, right? But we can't do that when we're still following the rules of the old matrix. We're not talking here about defying the universal laws, the divine laws of one, and the laws of cause and effect, and the laws of basically being a good person and a good soul who wants to make the world a better place. What we're talking about is breaking away from laws that archons gave us and seeded and established into this world in every system, every place, everywhere. which is why we aren't free. Even if people have the financial resources to live a good life, they're still oftentimes shackled to the same rules and ideas and taxation and diminishment and limitation and incarceration that the rest of us are, right? We have this perception of freedom, but when we're still playing and swimming in the sea of vibrational soup of the enslavement of an entire planet, we're still enslaved. So we have to transcend the confines of linear time. We have to transcend our patterns of belief that keep us swimming and treading water in a world of seas of vibrational soup where we actually aren't going anywhere. We're just treading water in place. We can't fly. Our wings can't unfurl if we are believing in the patterns and the values and the rules of a 3D matrix that believes that we should be managed and controlled and kept small. So I love how what these artists are talking about in Life, Paint, and Passion about literally the act and art of creating and creation also dovetails and mirrors our ascension journeys right now on a much bigger multidimensional scale. So we need to pay attention that where do we chain ourselves to rules, ideas, and preferences and boxes? Where do we box ourselves in? And then where do we wonder why we can't fly? Why is my idea not getting off the ground? Why can't I manifest this? Why is this not coming into my experience? I've lined everything up. I've paid in and invested some of my energy. I've done these things. What are the underlying default vibrations of other patterns and karmic belief systems that you have that may be conflicting with the reasons as to why you can't fly? Or that may be conflicting with all the ideas and things you want to launch that want to help you fly and unfurl your wings, but you still find yourself back again and again in that same 3D matrix and that same treadmill of karmic experiences because we're still chained to the old rules and the old system. We have to transcend the old rules and the old system. It's not just going to be done outside of us. We have to transcend it from inside of us. We are the ark. We are the instrument of the divine, transmuting and transcending those old systems and patterns of belief that kept us small. Look at these wings. Imagine that they're on your back. They're big, they're expansive, they can take you anywhere. But you have to believe beyond the limits and limitations of this 3D paradigm to even begin to believe that you have the wings that can take you where you want to go, right? It's vibrational travel in this new world. And you're the ark that knows how to vibrationally travel through the Gnostic energy inside you, through the knowings of light and the vehicle of light that you are. That's us. That's us. Okay, and the second quote I have from Michelle Cassot and Stuart Cubley is, "Chaos is the soil of creation. It plows the ground of intuition, preparing it to receive the seeds that wait in secret places for a fertile home. There is no need to force shapes to connect in order to make a coherent statement. This will be a betrayal of your intuition and will only lead to control and loss of energy. Without chaos, nothing will grow." Have you ever experienced where the more chaotic and messy your life is, sometimes that's where the deepest seeds and the most fertile ground was for your personal growth and change and your own inner becoming, your own activation of your inner knowing? I can say that it's been in the hardest times of my own life where I felt there was chaos and trauma and just a myriad of frequencies of overwhelm and stress and confusion and pain and even suffering. That chaos became the soil of creation in my life. That's where the energy and the insight to color the magic out of the difficult times I was in many years ago. That's how this whole channel began. Out of the chaos was planted the soil and the seeds of new creation, of coloring the magic back into the world, into my life. And so if your world is feeling any kind of chaotic during the holidays or as we round the corner into the new year, or if you've experienced a lot of that in 2025, that chaos is planting the seeds of your new creation, of your new becoming, in the inward ground of your intuition, right? Where these fertile seeds wait in these secret and sacred places inside us for a fertile home, a garden to grow in, right? We don't want to force things back into the old systems to fit into the old coherent, compliant narratives and statements and patterns of belief that keep us small. Feeding into our smallness doesn't unfurl our wings. Feeding into smallness and limitation doesn't support and empower you to be the true essence of the ark that you are, the light that you are, the knower that you are, the Sophia, the Eve, right? The Mother Mary, the Mary Magdalene, the very incredible and courageous beings who have stepped up in times past to show us how it's done, to show us how they did it in their time. And they're with us now. They're inside you. In the gnosis, you have access to any of these beings and their light and their foresight and their fortitude. But you also have access to your own because you are already a knower who knows who you truly are. You already are a knower who knows your Gnostic arc lives within you. These are the ascension keys. It's all inside you. So just one more statement here. Chaos is the soil of creation. So if things are messy in your life at all in this month, in the new year, in the new chapters unfolding for you, remember that chaos plows the ground of intuition, preparing your garden to receive the seeds that wait inside you for a fertile home. The garden awaits your fertile seeds. Sometimes chaos is what plows the ground to be ready, to be open, to be available and willing to the messages, right? To the insights and the downloads coming through. Beautiful inspiration about creation and our creativity that wants to express through us now more than ever. Okay, and now I'm going to round out part 1 of this video series, this 2-part series, with a Garden Insights message number 8 that is talking all about illuminating the true arc within. Let's have a listen. Greetings, precious souls on the inward path of divine remembering. Amidst the swirls of information, misinformation, increasingly potent energies, and a call to heal, cleanse, balance, and integrate who we really are, there is a profound call to truth, inner truth, absolute truth that is the heartbeat of the original garden, which you might know as the Mother, Mother Earth, Sophia, the light, and the source of all things. Souls throughout the spans and tests of time have been searching for and seeking this pathway home. They have looked for portals, fountains of youth, the Holy Grail, elixirs of all kinds, and riches beyond measure. And still some have turned up wanting, lacking the stamina, the light, the truth, and ultimately the remembrance codes. The truth is that the garden, the light of the Divine Mother, and union with Divine Source Creator has always been within. This is not cliché. This is the time of the great return that has always been and always will ever be for souls living outside the field of Christed Sophianic union, which the Gnostics knew as the pleroma. Holiday festivities this time of year shine a light on the pathway home. Again and again, souls within the spectrum of the human experience within this 3D realm go in search of light, the Christ, the presence of miracles, the possibility of divine grace and comfort amidst a world in deep challenge, spiritual amnesia, and a pervasive agnostic confusion. We find this quest within the hero's journey that timelessly weaves its way into the hearts of humanity through the stories that offer windows into the necessary strength, fortitude, faith, and stamina to pursue and reconnect with the pathway home to the light we all truly are. We see it especially in stories like The Pilgrim's Progress, The Alchemist, The Hymn of the Pearl, and The Interior Castle, as well as the life and teachings of Jesus Christ and the journeys he ignited within his disciples. Every soul is seeking to know union with God and union with the Mother again, despite outer appearances. There are simply many, many quantum potentials of paths to arrive home in their heart center, unified in light, integrated in their Christ Sophia codes once more. Some are more ready to walk the inner path of remembrance and divine knowing now today than ever. The matrix itself offers tempting distractions, voluminous sounds, and flashing lights to draw attention away from the inward journey home. Yet time and time again, those ready for true spiritual seeking and those ready for true spiritual gnosis find their way within to explore what it means to be divine, to be divinely human, and to be their Christ Sophia light as an all-time state of being. That all-time state of Christ Sophia being is the essence of Gnostic knowing, and the opportunity to enter the sacred path of inner knowing and inner union has never been more widely available, accessible, and needed in this world than ever before. December 2025 is imbued with light. December 2025 is the igniter. Eve, the awakener in the garden, is also an igniter. Within Eve, as within all souls in physical form, is the shadow and the light. There is an archonic version of Eve, the one who succumbed to an outer serpent's temptation and disobeyed God, the God the Gnostics knew as the demiurge. There is also a divine version of Eve, the one who emerged as the awakener, to help the archonic Adam to eat of the tree of knowledge of good and evil and arrive home in divine union with Source, with the Great Mother, and know the Christ Sophia unified light within his heart and his essence again. Stories given to humanity have long had missing pieces, missing elements, or added elements to shape the conditioning of humanity in each era and age of time. But when the Great Awakening comes calling, souls are summoned to look beyond the stories given, to seek the knowing of absolute truth within, and these are those times. Divine knowing is calling, and December 2025 will continue to ignite and amplify the invitations so that they reach more souls in the human collective's ears and sacred heart centers. Within each of us is essentially the tree of knowledge of good and evil. According to some religions, partaking in that tree, connecting with the wisdom within the tree, and eating its fruit is the greatest sin to befall humanity. From the inward path of the spiritual and soulful seeker, awakening to a growing awareness that something in this realm is off, something isn't quite right, something bigger is calling him or her to breathe deeper, see bigger, open wider, trust more holistically, and turn to the divine source and the Great Mother with more conviction, a deeper readiness, and a willingness to go the distance to explore and discover what has been elusive, perhaps in many other lifetimes. December 2025 illuminates. December 2025 ignites. December 2025 spotlights the inward path of rediscovering gnosis. And on that journey, catalyzed by the increasing energies in December, there is the story of divine ores that I wrote years ago, whose relevance is more prominent than ever now today. So take a deep, conscious breath in with me now, and feel through your gifts of sentience, all of your divine senses, the story of the boat, the ark that you made before you were born here in this realm, this lifetime, and many other lifetimes. See yourself in a beautiful handmade with love boat, floating on a very calm sea. This boat, made of your own two hands with thoughts of love, kindness, oneness, joy, and trust, is your center point. You are centered in the heart of its love and light. As you created this boat, you channeled source energy into its very beingness. And so every fiber, every curve, every detail of the boat is of source essence and light. This boat is a representation of you. It also represents your center. You and the center are one. Source energy is you. Source energy is your center. When you feel out of alignment, something has simply come into your awareness that has rocked your boat a little bit and pulled you off center. All you need to remember is that your core center, your every fiber, is source essence and source-infused centeredness. It is only a perception of malignment. You, in fact, are the pulsing heartbeat of an always state of flowing source beingness. When you made this boat with love, kindness, oneness, joy, grace, peace, and bliss channeling through you, you did not make oars, for you knew what was created in divine loving flow would always navigate you to what is good and what is right and what is divine. The bow of your boat is always pointed in the direction of your highest good. Highest good is its always due north or north star position. The warm flowing waters of the south and south winds are there to gently guide and flow you to your next spiritual destination. The east and west energies are the push-pull energies of the cosmos, the yin-yang. Their contrasts are what add the sense of having storms around you and within you, triggering fear and patterns of reactivity. But this is when you anchor yourself in the knowing that you built this boat with your own hands and your own heart. You built it as a channel of source light and love to float on, upward and through these passing storms, loved and embraced and nurtured by the south winds of Mother Earth's light, always and steadily due north to the horizon of highest good. It is an internal oar, dear one, that guides you, not physical oars. The magnetics of source energy within you are your compass and your oars. They are your beingness, knowingness, and doingness. You knew this when you built it, when you made the boat so carefully and craftfully. We're reminding you of this, that you and your boat are both vessels of the same one source. That one source essence is the water, is the wind, is the rain, is the storms, is the fear, is the light. That one source is the God magnet and power source of all that is and all that is yet to be. That one source is always gravitating you to the light of truth, ease, love, and pure flow. Orient your boat and your vessel to what is good. Orient your vibrational oars to what is in your heart's highest good. You are created and magnetically aligned to always flow due north to highest good. As the storms from east and west arise, anchor and center in your inner oar's alignment with highest good, source essence. Then allow Mother Earth's beautiful south winds to gently blow and flow your pathway forward with the ease and grace of a powerful, majestic angel. She knows where you are going. She knows the northward pathway of flowing toward your inner star. It is the same path for all beings, the same destination. All will arrive in their own due time. The key is to remember how you built your boat and what you really are, a center point of source energy channeling the light easily and flowfully to highest good. You are this vessel, dear one. The storms may call you to go out and buy more oars, but the true oars lie within. Open your heart to them. Open your heart to the path of least resistance, trusting infinite source wisdom, vision, and highest good to flowfully guide your journey to the light. It is a threading of a cosmic needle. Using the 4 directions to your highest senses and highest sense of divine good. When you remain in the north and south position, you are aligned and receiving full source energy from above and Mother Earth love and guidance from below. That is your chakra alignment. East and west energies are the pushes and pulls that provide contrasts to these aligned energies. Find your inner star, your inner oars, your inner compass by simply knowing your own soul map and trusting the divine craftsmanship of your boat. Then, only then, can you sail peacefully and flowfully through any storm that is pushing and pulling your attention away from highest good. You can witness the storm, but not be of it. And you simply glide on to what and where your true home is, divine source energy, bliss, and flow. You have been the ark all this time. The floodwaters akin to the amplifying ascension energies are rising. You are made of light. You are handcrafted with gnosis. You are your own inner lantern, compass, and map through time. You are the knower awakening from slumber. You are the ark awakening as a spark in the dark in these times. And there is work to do to explore these encoded knowings as the ascension frequencies continue to take down, dissolve, and dematerialize the falsehoods, the fakery, and the illusions. Ascension is exiting the 3D matrix by embracing our inner remembrance codes and by embracing the knowing that we know, we eternally know. The Divine Feminine is rising to help us all to remember some key messages and messengers of this great awakening. Sophia is the ark before worlds, the womb and the wisdom keeper that dreamed the dream. Eve is the ark inside the garden and inside the exile, who was the first to say yes to gnosis. Mother Mary is the ark of silence, enduring faith and patience that sheltered the light when it had to hide. And Mary Magdalene is the ark unveiled, the sacred companion who receives the kiss upon the kiss in the bridal chamber within the heart center, and who embraces the gift of sacred union of the Christ Sophia codes, becoming unified light herself once more. These extraordinary divine feminine messengers are 4 faces and 1 breath of ascension awareness. These divine feminine souls are 4 wombs representing 1 grand birth. They enlighten those with ears to hear and eyes to see that the true ark is not out there, but within your rib cage, within your sacred heart center and lungs, breathing the truth of you right now. They are the collective heartbeat that remembers that the Christ Sophia unified light never left the pleroma. It never left divine union and the divine wholeness and eternal knowingness you truly are. Every time a soul takes a deep conscious breath and allows themselves to see and feel this living ark within, we are recognizing the Christ Sophia eternal light in ourselves, as if to say, I recognize you. I know you. I am you and you are me and we are one. This ark, this Christ Sophia living light is inside us. We are inside that perfect, homeostatic, benevolent, and eternal light. In this light, we are home, and we remember we have always been home, here in our heart centers, here in conscious breathing, here in our true arcs. Noah's journey required faith, deep inner listening, a willingness to physically build an ark for the flood of his day. Today's New Earth Noahs, and really today's New Earth knowers, are rediscovering their ascension arcs that have lived within them all this time. We are the arcs we have been waiting for. We are the knowers remembering the truth of who we are that opens the inner pathways that lead us home to Source, due north to Source. With the divine and sacred Mother's south winds gently guiding us to go the distance within, through the illusions of separation to the light and union of reknowing ourselves as home. December 2025 shines a light on these remembrance codes, inviting each of us to explore, breathe into, feel, and know we have always been home. The divine feminine within you knows the way. Sophia, Eve, Mother Mary, and Mary Magdalene are each and all messengers of the true ark that lives inside your chest. It lives inside your ribs. It lives inside your sacred heart center. You made this boat. You are this ark. You are the knower returning to the light of gnosis in every breath you consciously feel and breathe deeply in union with Source. The more we consciously breathe union in this way, the more we consciously connect with the true ark within, the more we feel and know the tree of knowledge of good and evil is our passage up and out of this 3D matrix of illusion and archonic tricks, and the more we witness and experience our shadow, archonic 3D aspects, and light, our divine, sacred Christ Sophia living light and essence, healing this grand separation and reknowing the light of union with Source and the Great Mother once more. This December 2025, you are invited to illuminate your true ark, to dust off the sails, and to oil the inner gears of Gnosis. The Christ Sophionic light codes in you are birthing and rising to lead you home where you have always been whole, always been loved, always been perfect, and always been inspired by the true light of divine creation and the true light of the heart of the Great Mother, who welcomes each one of us home to who we truly are. Your true ark is calling. The energies are rising. You are made of all the divine ingredients to weather the ascension storms. The east and west, or west and east, pulls on your 3D attention and energy, and to breathe and unify beyond them, to access and embody the living light's unification in you, for you, through you, in all directions of time. It's a really beautiful message for this month, December 2025, as we really feel the closeout of so many older energies, patterns, beliefs, and limitations. But what is so powerful in that message about the boat, when we feel like there's chaos around us, right? When we feel like there's confusion, when we feel like we don't understand fully what's happening, there's a knower inside us that knows. The knower, the Gnostic, the Christ Sophia light codes inside. The Merkaba that is our locomotion through these times of ascension, shifts, and change, the likes of which no humanity, to my knowledge, has ever experienced before. This is a major shift of a planetary consciousness. It's a major shift of all systems templated in illusion and fakery and falsehoods and deception and all the things that we associate with the fall of Adam and Eve in the garden. But the truth is, this archonic creation, this world that we live in, is not just an upside down world. It is templated in deception and manipulation and control and coercion and many, many, many dark, dense vibrations. So when we recover and we restore the knowledge, when we reclaim the knowing that we are the vessels, that we are the arcs, that we built our boats for these times, that we wrote into our codes, that we're living within the codes of our DNA, living within the codes of our light bodies, living within the codes as Gnostic souls on the planet once more. We didn't build oars. We didn't create the oars because we knew that we would get to this place in our own evolutions where the distractions of buying and selling oars or using oars to paddle our way into one experience or another, or escape one experience for another, or to control one experience for another. Whatever that is, the oars are also part of the illusions. And only when somebody becomes a vibrational traveler, the divine creative hero and heroine, that's my language, but the soul in the journey who's seeking the knowing that they know within, that's when things change. That's when the ascension process begins in the great awakening in our own personal lives. We begin to exit the matrix with the more we allow in that we know that we know. The knowing is our locomotion. That's why we don't need the oars, right? In a 3D world, we need the oars, we need the money, we need the physical things. But the true soul traveler, the Gnostic, knows that ultimately everything is being created from the formless into form through our frequencies, our vibrations. If we wanted oars, we could materialize them in an instant, right? But the actual mechanism of oars is our faith, it's our freedom, it's our sovereignty, it's our knowing, it's our remembrance of who we are. This matrix, this 3D matrix and illusion, has done everything it can and will continue to do so to provide ample distractions and noise to dim out or dull out or mute out the truth of God and the divinity in all divine souls on this planet. So I want to leave you to marinate in those insights from the Garden Insights number 8. I will post that message unto itself shortly after this video post so that you can listen to that on its own anytime. So within the Garden Insights message number 8, you will have access to that message about divine oars and seeing yourself as a beautiful, handmade with love boat and ark. You are the true ark. Listen to that again and again as often as you need to for the remembrance codes that live in you, for the knower inside you that knows. Your knowing is the exit out of this matrix and your ascension into who you truly are and the expression of your true gifts. We're all somewhere in this journey, but it's so important to have affirming messages like this that remind us of who we are and where we're going if we get a little lost and turned around and or distracted, right? Your inner arc, your true arc, always knows the way due north to source, due north to the Great Mother. That's what we're tapping into. And for the last part of part 1, I have a short soul song. It's the song that accompanies that message of divine oars, and that is the name of the song. It's a song that I wrote a number of years ago. It likely will find its way into Color the Magic, the musical. So let's have a listen to the Divine Oars song, and then we'll close out part 1, and we'll open up the messages for part 2, the soul songs for the holidays for December 2025 that signal and spotlight the endings and beginnings unfolding for all of us in this season of light.
Oars in and around us, oars below and above us, divine oars east and west across us, divine oars north and south align us. center within. Divine flow is our source engine. Ours in and around us. Oars below and above us. Divine oars east and west across us. Divine oars north and south align us. We're each divinely crafted to be love, to shine, source light from within and above. When we falter, doubt, or question our way, this light always knows a way will be made. Oars in and around us. Oars below and above us. Divine oars east and west across us. Divine oars north and south align us. Ground anchor in love and let go. Align, allow, and embrace the flow. Our divine oars know exactly where to go. Northward to source, they guide us home.
Our divine oars are absolutely guiding us home if we will listen, if we can open up our soul sight, if we can expand our inner ears. The divine oars inside you have always been there. You have always been home. You have always been the knower that knows. You are the true ark. And this concludes part 1 of our December 2025 messages and conversations together. So stay tuned for soul songs coming up in part 2.